Have you ever found yourself struggling against yourself? Trying to resist that uncontrollable urge to do something that deep down, you know will set you back? And what if I told you that the real secret to self-control isn't about having superhuman willpower, but about something almost no one talks about? What if the environment around you was responsible for your setbacks, not your lack of strength? Today, we are going to dismantle this illusion and reveal the truth behind self-control. Are you ready to face what truly holds you back? Here at Personal Metamorphosis, we, the butterflies, are in constant transformation. This is the place where personal development meets the dark reality of our minds. If you're seeking the raw and unfiltered truth, you're in the right place. Stay with me until the end of this video because together we are going to explore the path of self-discovery and, who knows, maybe find that missing piece to finally take control of your life. When we talk about self-control, many think of willpower, discipline, and resistance. But what few realize is that the secret might lie in the environment around us. Those who seem to have unshakable self-control aren't superhuman. They've simply created an environment where temptations are rare. What we are going to explore today is how you can transform your environment so that self-control is no longer a constant struggle. There is a profound secret in the path to self-control, something that challenges the common view that willpower is the main ingredient. We are led to believe that, to master our impulses and desires, we need superhuman resistance, a constant internal battle between what we want to do and what we should do. But what if this battle could be avoided? What if the real secret to self-control lay not in the fight, but in building an environment where that fight rarely happens? Imagine, for a moment, walking through a minefield. Each step requires absolute concentration, extreme care not to fall into invisible traps. Now, think about how different that walk would be if, before starting, you could simply remove the mines from the path. Wouldn't it be easier? This is the principle behind true self-control. People who seem to possess unshakable self-control are not, in fact, those who constantly fight against temptation. They are those who prepare their surroundings so that temptations are few and far between. They shape their environments, both physically and mentally, so that the triggers that provoke their bad habits are minimized or eliminated. In this way, the need for willpower almost disappears. After all, if there are no mines in the path, there is nothing to fear. The environment we live in, the objects that surround us, the people we interact with, all these exert a powerful influence over us. Every detail, no matter how small, has the potential to trigger a chain of events in our minds, leading us to behaviors we often would prefer to avoid. The coffee cup left on the table can remind us of the caffeine we promised to avoid. The phone beside the bed silently calls out, begging to be checked, even when we know we need rest. This isn't about weakness or a lack of self-control. It's about being surrounded by stimuli that evoke deeply ingrained habits. Habits that, over time, have become a part of who we are, even if they don't define us. But what happens when these stimuli disappear? When the coffee is no longer in sight? When the phone is left outside the bedroom? The answer is simple. Temptation diminishes, and with it, the need to fight against our own desires. Our environment is, in many ways, a reflection of our minds. And, likewise, our minds are shaped by the environment we inhabit. When we surround ourselves with chaos, it is natural for our thoughts to become chaotic as well. When we surround ourselves with order, our thoughts tend to follow the same pattern. This doesn't mean we need to live in a sterile or minimalist environment, but rather that we should be mindful of the signals and triggers that surround us. Those who master self-control know this instinctively. They do not rely on willpower to resist temptation. They rely on their ability to create a world where temptation is not a constant force. This requires a certain degree of self-awareness, a deep understanding of what their personal triggers are and how they can be neutralized. For some, it might be as simple as reorganizing their workspace, removing visual distractions that pull their attention away. For others, it might mean creating routines and rituals that structure the day in such a way that there is limited time for harmful habits. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to an environment that supports rather than sabotages self-control. And here is the beauty of this secret. It is not about renouncing pleasure or living a life of deprivation. On the contrary, it is about finding pleasure and satisfaction in environments that empower us and allow us to thrive. When negative triggers disappear, we create space for more positive and meaningful experiences. Instead of focusing on resisting temptations, we can focus on cultivating the habits we truly desire. However, this requires courage. Courage to recognize the aspects of our lives that are harming us and the determination to change them. This is not easy because often, bad habits are rooted in comfort zones, places where we feel safe, even though we know they are harmful. It takes inner strength to break away from these patterns, to create a new environment that pushes us in the right direction. This change can start simply, with small adjustments that, over time, accumulate and create a significant impact. Removing that packet of cookies from the pantry. Replacing nighttime screen time with relaxing reading. Surrounding yourself with people who share your goals and values. Every action counts. And gradually, self-control ceases to be a daily battle. It becomes a state of being, a reflection of the environment you have built for yourself. It is not about denying what you want, but about reconfiguring what is desirable. And in doing so, willpower stops being a fragile barrier against the world and becomes a solid foundation upon which life can be built. This is the true secret of self-control. It's not about holding yourself back, but about freeing yourself from the traps that bind you. When the triggers disappear, when the environment supports our goals, the need for resistance diminishes. And in that space, we find greater freedom, a capacity to choose not based on what we avoid, but on what we wish to create. The people who truly master self-control, therefore, are not those who seem to have iron willpower. They are those who have learned to shape their world in such a way that temptations rarely appear. They have understood that the secret is not to fight against themselves, but to create an environment where the struggle is no longer necessary. This idea may seem simple, even obvious, but its practical application is powerful. It requires a level of self-awareness and intention that is often missing in the pursuit of quick and superficial changes. It demands a long-term commitment to one's well-being, a recognition that, in order to grow, one must first plant the seeds in the right soil. And so, self-control, this much-admired quality, becomes less about a constant battle and more about a smooth dance with the environment around us. Each step is guided by conscious choices, each movement is supported by a world that reflects our best interests. In the end, it's not about being stronger than temptations, but about creating a world where those temptations no longer have a place. And then, as you walk through what was once a minefield, you'll find the path much clearer, much easier. Not because you've become invincible, but because you've learned to shape the path. And that, perhaps, is the greatest lesson of all. The true art of self-control does not lie in constant resistance, but in creating an environment that makes the choices we want to make easier. By reorganizing the world around us, eliminating negative triggers, and promoting positive habits, we free ourselves from the need for superhuman willpower. Instead of fighting an internal battle, we walk a path where temptations become less and less relevant, allowing us to focus on our personal growth and build a life more aligned with our values. When we shape our environment, we transform our lives. If you resonated with what we talked about today, know that this is just the beginning. At Personal Metamorphosis, we are creating a true family of butterflies, all in search of transformation and growth. Continue this journey with us, explore our other videos, and be part of this deep change. Now it's your turn. Leave a comment below sharing which triggers you most want to eliminate from your environment. Let's learn and evolve together. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications so you don't miss the next step in this journey of transformation. Remember, just like a butterfly, you have wings to fly high.